Yeah, and so the other thing I noticed about it is outside of the final images of Trump up on stage during the, after the assassination attempt, it actually doesn't really have Trump at all.
Which is smart, I actually think.
Which is interesting too, making a referendum on the Biden years. And one thing I'll say is I don't know that the campaign has done as an effective job as they could, trying to tie Kamala directly into the Biden record. And that was, one of their main goals and jobs from the beginning, from when she was swapped in as candidate. But Trump, because he has zero message discipline and never has and never will, has not really consistently prosecuted that case. So part of the effectiveness of that ad really hinges on how much were they able to tie her to a Biden record, which is undoubtedly unpopular. On the flip side, we've got the Kamala Harris closing ad. Let's take a listen to her final pitch to voters.
Name's Hannah.
Come here, Hannah. Shake my hand. How you doing?
Good.
And bring everybody back together.
And that's exactly how I feel.
That's what I'm doing now.
Okay, you have to stay in touch with me, okay? I'm
love
very
to.
serious about that.
Love to.
Okay. Throughout this campaign, I've seen the best of America, and I've seen what is holding you back and weighing you down. High costs, fundamental rights taken away, and politics that have driven fear and division. You deserve better. As president, I'll bring a new generation of leadership. I'll take on price gouging and bring down the cost of groceries and housing and prescriptions. I'll fight for your freedom to make your own choices, and I will protect your health care and your benefits, not take them away. The vast majority of people in our country have so much more in common than what separates them. Good people, hardworking people. We see in our fellow Americans neighbors, not enemies. We believe in each other. We believe in our country. We're not falling for these folks who are trying to divide us. Together, we'll build a brighter future for our nation, where we stand for freedom, we stand for justice, we stand for the dignity of work. We haven't yet quite reached all of those ideals, but we will die trying because we love our country. Now, the baton is in our hands. I pledge to seek common sense solutions to make your life better. And I pledge to be a president for all Americans. Now I'm asking for your vote, because as president, I will get up every day and fight for the American people. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
So pretty significant contrast in the approach there.
The tone is literally diametrical.
Night and day, right? This optimism, even the music is diametrically opposed. She's got this aspirational, optimistic score. It's direct to camera from her. She's speaking. I mean, part of that, putting her behind the podium, is again trying to help people to imagine her in that role as commander-in-chief. You have men and women represented there in that ad, which is, one thing that I've noted before, Sagar, is Democrats have recognized they've got an issue with men. I don't know that they've done everything they need to in terms of outreach, but they certainly have made some efforts. Whereas the Trump campaign has really just decided, nope, we can't win over the women who are concerned about abortion. They're gone. We can't win them over. We need to just really super serve this male base that we're hoping are going to ultimately turn out.
I honestly agree with that. I don't think there is much you can do on the abortion issue. It's basically as binary as it gets. You're either support it or you don't. In terms of trying to win people over, if you look at opinion polling, it is genuinely and always has the #1 issue for a lot of these female voters, especially these newer female voters. But men are very different. They think about a lot of different stuff. That's another reason why that economy, that ad from Trump was all about the economy. Kamala, it's a little bit more of, got a message for everybody, for the men who are with you kind of on abortion, but you got to give them some economy stuff, but you've got a heavy emphasis, I will protect your freedoms. They use that language a lot. It's interesting, too, if you looked at that big January 6th retrospective rally that she had about democracy, the word freedom was everywhere in the Kamala ad. And I took notice of that. I'm like, it's actually kind of interesting.
In
terms of the messaging, I've talked about the social libertarianism, how much more popular that is from Democrats as opposed to ninnyism, and that stems from more of a woke ideology. So it is interesting to see what is obviously popular, what is polling on. I also note there's not a single message of I'm a woman and you should elect me.
There was a
I'm
little
black and you should
nod
elect
to
me.
it because she had that, she says something like, we haven't always lived up to our aspirations. They have
Right.
the picture of like the little black girl marching in the civil rights
But, like,
movement, but that was it.
Yeah.
It's funny that you read that your reaction to the Trump ad was that it was mostly about economics, because my reaction to it was mostly cultural.
Well, it's both. You get both.
Because you've got, they got to throw in the Algerian boxer is in there. They talk about, your patriotism is labeled toxic. They sort of give this illusion of cancel culture, and then, the sense of like chaos. So to me, it was heavier emphasis on cultural. Kamala's ad was similar to what she tried to achieve in that speech at the Ellipse, which was, yes, to make the case about like, we got to come together, we got to put this, this ugliness in our past, but also she got in there like, I'm going to go after the price gougers, I'm going to seek common sense economic solutions, blah, blah, blah. So trying to marry sort of that like democracy argument with the more populist parts of her economic pitch. So, which is going to land? We're going to find out soon enough. And if also, these are the messages that these campaigns want to put out. That's the other big question, is whether the paid communications really matter that much, or whether it's more about the meta media narratives, which, I think that's...
Talk about that. Yeah. And that whole next block is about Madison Square Garden.
Exactly.
Turning point.
Right.
We do have some other info we can share. So this literally just came out. I'm going to mention it. Maybe we can edit it in post-production. But the final day schedules from the candidates are out. The final day schedule from Donald Trump will be Raleigh, North Carolina, Reading, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids is the traditional last time site for Trump. It was his last rally in 2016.
Oh, really? Didn't
last in
realize that.
2020. Apparently he's superstitious because he thinks he won in 2020, so he wants to do it again. The final day schedule, this tells you a lot from Harris. Scranton, Allentown, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. So the last one, PA. So all PA, whereas Trump's got to shore things up in North Carolina, 2 stops in PA. Take notice, Pittsburgh, Reading, and with the location of those, and then finally Grand Rapids. Last time, Michigan really was such a huge win for him in 2016. That was one that they bet the farm on. I remember, so many arguments I had with people where they're like, "There's no way Trump is going to win Michigan." I remember thinking that, and it was like boom in terms of what the true shock of the night was. We also should we remind people about Biden, about his closing message? You guys want to see it?
Highly effective.
Do you guys want to see his closing message? Let's take a listen.
But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Yeah, so that's
even the delivery of that is very like, what's going on there?
He's got the dimension stone face. Like every time he speaks, it's like the mouth is moving, nothing else is going on up here. It's just blank behind the eyes.
It's also, I mean, he wanted to campaign for Kamala and kept reaching out, and they just basically were like,
good.
No.
Right.
And he did those comments. What was it that he said that, the garbage comment.
Yeah.
That caused such a problem. He was supposed to do, I guess what they had relegated him to was like, okay, you can do these Zoom calls with some of the surrogate groups. We don't think that you can fuck that up too badly. But after the garbage comments, all of those surrogate
they canceled
calls,
everything.
They were all pulled. So even this very limited role that they felt safe having Joe Biden go out and do, at the end of the day, they were like, no, sorry, we're even pulling the plug on that, which just, I mean, it's astonishing that this man is still the president, right? He can't be trusted to do a Zoom surrogate call with people who already support the ticket. Even that is too weighty a responsibility for him, and yet he has the nuclear code. So there you go. Yeah. Example number 3,572, why the Kamala Harris campaign is like, we're probably not going to be really campaigning with you because this is just not helpful.
Not only are we not campaigning with you, it's like we don't even want to mention you. We don't want to, the Biden what administration? Who?
Yeah.
In terms of who's on the ticket there?
Totally.
So anyway, let's put the next one up there. This is going to be very interesting. So I mentioned the final day analysis. Trump is rallying every single day until the election in North Carolina. They say a swing state that he won twice, but that really indicates, so I mean, both of the schedules, we can read a lot into this. The Trump campaign, they're worried about North Carolina. They got him there every day, all over the weekend. Final day, they've got to stop there in North Carolina, and the Harris campaign, they're worried about PA. 4 stops, all in PA. Final stop in Philadelphia. They had a big ad that's been running all across the Philly area about how Philly stands up for freedom and about Democratic overperformance. They're betting the house on the main line and on urban turnout there, and they're hoping that that's going to be enough to stop what they see as the rural turnout in Western PA. That's exactly why, by the way, you have Trump there in Pittsburgh for his final stop to see where the two, demographics specifically of that big big state, very, very different populations, even just across the state, and who they're trying to turn out for what is likely to be the tipping point in the election.
Yeah, and both of those states are similar in terms of electoral college votes. So Pennsylvania has 19, North Carolina has 16. So both of them, significant prizes electorally. And, for either candidate,